I have friends of mine in New York. My phone is blowing up. They are officially depressed and scared. And as Martha pointed out earlier, a full 9% of people say that they will leave if he in fact got elected. I'm literally in tears. I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face. One is a meme of the Statue of Liberty, sitting down, smoking a cigarette. F it. I'm going to move to Florida. The other one has a picture of Mamdani, and it says, Realtor of the Year in the state of Florida.
I now get it. I now understand the sheer joy MAGA was experiencing as they would own the libs, okay? Because that video compilation of Sean Hannity alone made Zohran Mamdani's mayoral victory in New York City worth it. Okay, that was amazing. But there has been a lot of anger, a lot of seething, a lot of fear mongering on social media since Mamdani won the race. And I want to get into it. Before the race was even called, though, you have the president of the United States, Donald Trump, absolutely freaking out on social media and also saying this about Jewish people, which I find particularly gross. Any Jewish person that votes for Zohran Mamdani, a proven and self-professed Jew hater, that is not true. I mean, I don't think I need to tell you guys that, but just to be clear, that's not true, is a stupid person. So here's Trump calling Jewish Americans who voted for Mamdani stupid, which is insane. And then just before the poll results were announced, Shabbos Kestenbaum, who I've had a few interactions with on Piers Morgan's show, took shots at the Gaza Ministry of Health, which is believed to essentially undercount how many Palestinians the IDF has killed because they don't count the people trapped under the rubble. And he tied it to Mamdani's election results or expected election results. According to the Gaza Ministry of Health, Zohran Mamdani just won a whopping 312% of the vote. I don't even know what that was meant to communicate. Are you trying to say that the race was rigged or something? I don't know. But the real freak out took place after Zohran Mamdani won. So let's go to another one of my favorites, Elon Levy, who shouldn't really care much about what's transpiring in New York City since he lives in Israel. But nonetheless, he says, if you're a Jewish New Yorker who doesn't understand why Mamdani will be a disaster for you, ask your grandparents. And that was in response to a post by Peter Beinart, where he says, if you're a Jewish New Yorker who can't understand why people in your city voted for Zohran Mamdani, ask your children. They probably did too. Then you have some of the more panicky posts, Lizzie Savetsky, who says, this will get ugly. We will feel the hits and we will answer boldly and unapologetically. Prepare, protect, and pray. Mark my words. This is only the beginning of the vicious storm that will rage through our great nation. Buckle up. So that was in reference to all of the smears about Zohran Mamdani allegedly being a Jew-hating jihadist. None of that is true, of course. But that fear-mongering campaign was the only thing his detractors deployed in order to crush him, and it didn't work. There is no indication that Zohran Mamdani is going to persecute Jewish people at all. The only reason why this smear campaign even exists is because he's not on his knees filleting Benjamin Netanyahu like all the other politicians in this country do. He said that he has no interest in visiting any foreign country as mayor of New York City because he wants to stay here in New York City as the mayor to take care of the people here. And he also said that he would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he stepped foot in New York City because, well, after all, the International Criminal Court has a warrant out for his arrest because he's a war criminal. There's more though. Zionists in particular are threatening to leave the United States, which don't threaten me with a good time. Here's one guy who says, dear New York City Jews, by the way, over 30% of New York City Jews voted for Mamdani, but nonetheless, not even Mamdani can destroy a great city like New York in one night, but the process has begun. Indeed, it was a great run and you were a blessing to New York City, but Jews will feel less and less comfortable in the Big Apple. So do yourself a favor, buy real estate in the land of Israel. It's good for your kids, it's good for your money, and it's simply the next chapter in our people's story. Let Mamdani be a messenger of a good but hard decision. Goodbye, New York. Shalom, Jerusalem. And then others are looking to segregate themselves from the rest of New Yorkers. Here is Rabbi Mark Schneier, who says, with the news of Zohran Mamdani's mayoral victory, I am announcing plans for the building of the first Jewish day school in the Hamptons. This is in anticipation of the thousands of Jewish families that will flock to the Hamptons and greater Suffolk County to escape the anti-Semitic climate of Mamdani's New York City. Okay, that was.
You know, all I'm reading in those tweets is a bunch of people who are mad that Zohran's campaign wasn't explicitly about them. That's it. Some guy who can go to the Hamptons to sequester himself. Yeah, sorry, this wasn't the campaign for you. This campaign isn't about you. New York is already working perfectly fine for you. You're not dependent on most of the public goods and services. You know, I'm pretty sure you're fine paying your mortgage, because I'd be shocked if any of these people paid rents in New York, because they speak from their little perch. Like if you don't rely on the goods and services in New York City, meaning the buses, the trains, the school system, et cetera, yeah, the campaign wasn't about you, and so you feel left out. And that's all this is to me. And it's just like, yo, get over yourself. Sorry, we're not gonna have a city hall that is literally just dedicated to Wall Street and the freaking real estate lobby, who is as powerful as any interest anywhere in our country. We're gonna try to have a program for normal, everyday people. And that's what they're pissed off about.
Yeah, and also, look, there is a sense of entitlement that I think is really hurting pro-Israel people in this country, right? A mentality that they have that they really need to reconsider. When you attack politicians because they don't support a foreign country and they want to take care of the people in this country, you turn people against you. Okay, that is a losing strategy. You are not entitled to that. No foreign country is entitled to that. And so the attacks against Mamdani, like there was very little in terms of like criticism over his policy proposals. There was some, but the bulk of the attacks against Mamdani centered on the fact that he didn't want to fillet, Netanyahu, that he wasn't supportive of what Israel had been doing in Gaza. He didn't mince his words about it. And I really respect that. That doesn't make him anti-Semitic. It doesn't make him a Jew hater. There's no indication that he hates Jewish people or is going to do anything to harm Jewish New Yorkers. And luckily, over 30% of Jewish New Yorkers didn't buy the BS smears against Mamdani. I did love this. Michael Rappaport, unironically use the meme that MAGA likes to poke fun at. So this is a woman who started screaming as soon as Trump was announced as the winner of the 2016 presidential election. She was screaming no. And Michael Rappaport literally used that same meme because he agrees with the sentiment, only in regard to Mamdani, of course. Katie Halper says, love that this is a real tweet. Now I want to just quickly go over why it is that Americans have been souring on the US alliance with Israel. Because there is a massive misconception and weird paranoia that it's all about hatred toward Jewish people. And it's not. It has nothing to do with Jewish identity. It has everything to do with just a small list of facts that I've gathered for you. So you can understand what's really going on here. So of course, Zohran Mamdani has never attacked Jewish people, literally ever. But he has been a critic of Israel. During the debate, again, he refused to say that he would visit Israel as his first international trip after winning as mayor. And he said that he'd arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. That's it. Now, typically these bold views would hurt candidates, but that isn't the case with Mamdani. We are in a new era, and I'm happy to see it. And it's because New Yorkers are probably feeling what we here at TYT have been feeling. So maybe Israel defenders should maybe consider the actions of Israel and how that is essentially leading to Americans not really wanting to have this close relationship, especially with the kind of government that Israel has at the moment. So On June 15th, 2024, here are some examples of what makes people sour on Israel. I'm just trying to help them out so they understand. June 15th, 2024, on the episode of the Israeli-based show Half Cross with Aubrey Gilad and Yair Shekri, former Israeli MP Moshe Feiglin essentially evoked Hitler to describe Israel's plans for Gaza. So here is a post by someone who's clearly Jewish saying that this MP quotes Hitler to explain the agenda of settling Gaza and turning it into Hebrew. So let me read you his actual quote. He said, as Hitler said, like this is a Jewish individual in Israel using Hitler as like what, a leader? As inspiration? What are you doing? But I'll read it to you. As Hitler said, I cannot live if one Jew is left. We can't live here if one Islamo-Nazi remains in Gaza. And of course, he thinks all of the Palestinians are Islamo-Nazis. So that kind of stuff, believe it or not, most Americans not in favor of mass slaughter. Not in favor of the mass slaughter they've been seeing live streamed over the last 2 years. Here's another example. An Israeli, well, self-identified Israeli sniper named Aaron Levitsky sent a conservative American critic of Israel, her name is Morgan Ariel, some pretty insane death threats. I'm gonna read them to you. So here's the first round. Where you live in America, why are you demonizing Jews? There'll be deadly consequences. Stop this dangerous anti-Semitic propaganda. I'm seriously warning you. There will be deadly punishment. I promise to God. You boils my blood. You boiling my blood. Let's read more. There's more. Morgan, you boiling my blood right now. Stop Nazi propaganda, bitch. I will dedicate my life to F all of you piece of crap anti-Semites. He used a different word, but you get the point. You must pay a heavy price for hate against Jews. I will on your grave, anti-Semite. So she reported that as she should. By the way, I've gotten similar threats. I don't trust our FBI, so I didn't report it to the FBI. I have started reporting things to local police just to have a paper trail. But nonetheless, she reported this to the FBI. And they basically told her, yeah, there's really not much we can do. Take a look.
He said he was going to hunt me down like a dog and on my grave. So last week, probably thanks to you guys as well for everybody making noise about it, the FBI did contact me and they did reach out to me. They opened up an investigation into the account Aaron Levitsky, and I was waiting for the investigation to come back last Thursday. I followed up with them and they told me that they thought that they had located the account, but they didn't have any more information for me at that time. I followed up with them yesterday, at which point he said that he did locate the country that the account was from, but that they could not verify who the individual was, and that the best thing for me to do is to block the account and to let them know if I hear anything else from this individual, but that this individual is not in the United States per them. I asked them, of course, in follow-up, okay, well, can you please tell me what country this individual is allegedly in? And they told me, no, they can't do that.
When you have now several American citizens killed in the West Bank, when you have an American citizen who's a teenager still detained by the Israelis, they won't release him. They claim that they're detaining him because he allegedly threw a rock. When these types of stories start percolating in the media, especially independent media that actually cares and reports on these stories, yeah, Americans start to sour on the foreign government that we are all led to believe is our greatest ally. Here's another example. When you have Zionist organizations and groups targeting critics of Israel to destroy their lives, people start souring on Israel. Here is one of our viewers, Danny K. Politics. He wrote, hey, Jank, Danny Krikorian here, follower of you and Anna. Randy Fine got me fired from Valencia College in Florida, where I taught US government for defending Palestine. Ruined my life. So tell me something, are Americans supposed to be happy about these types of situations, these types of incidents? Larry Ellison bought TikTok to censor critics of Israel. Americans don't like censorship, including the right, by the way. His son bought CBS and is on a mission to also purchase the parent company of CNN to further silence Israel critics. So Warner Discovery is the parent company of CNN. And they already have these mass firings taking place over at CBS under Barry Weiss's leadership. And then finally, there are endless videos of IDF soldiers, some of which are posted by the IDF soldiers themselves, acting like rabid monsters. So there's one that went viral recently. This video dates back to 2016. I want to be clear about that, but it's recently gone viral, and it features a little Palestinian girl essentially getting her bike taken away from her by an IDF soldier. Take a look. And I'm pretty sure defending the Israeli prison guards who gang raped Palestinian prisoners on camera didn't help their cause either. So this has nothing to do with hating Jews. This has nothing to do with hating people because of their identity or their religion. It has everything to do with a country that has a government and a military that behaves like monsters. People need to understand that. And efforts to smear people who have enough moral conviction to speak out against it isn't going to help your cause. I just really wanted to make that clear, Waz. And I don't know, maybe I'm being unfair, but I doubt it.
I think my problem with a lot of the support for Israel, especially here, is I think they just want people to see it as just. They want people to see it as righteous. And I think most of the people who support it here, they know that it's none of those things, but they feel like it's necessary. They've really got it in their mind that the Jewish people of the world could never be safe if there isn't an ethno state for Jewish people. Which, again, I just find that crazy to say from your crib in the Upper West Side or Beverly Hills or San Francisco, California. Like that just sounds absurd to me to say that like no Jewish person is safe. If a state in Israel where it's just literally 80% Jewish people doesn't exist in that manner. I don't know. I just don't understand the need to see it as just. That just strikes me as strange. And what I would say too, and we literally just saw this with the Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival. People killed those comedians. They killed them for going to Saudi Arabia because it's like, bro, like this is gross. We don't like what the Saudis stand for. They did 9/11. They're chopping up journalists in a hotel room and putting his body in a freaking cooler. Like people killed those folks and nobody was like, oh, that's Islamophobic. Oh, why are you so obsessed with that? I remember when they were doing their indiscriminate bombing campaign in Yemen. People protested that. I remember Bernie was the only one that put it to a vote, was like, yo, we shouldn't be sending weapons to these folks to carry out these mass killings, indiscriminate killings. Like it was literally the same thing, to be honest. It's just that there was nobody on TV. There were no Saudis going on TV to be like, no, actually, those children and kids and innocent civilians in Yemen, no, they actually deserve it. Or we were actually getting a couple of Houthis, whatever. We killed 100 people, but there were 2 Houthis in that rubble. Like it just didn't exist that way. I'm just kind of baffled by the pushback, but I do think it does stem from an almost universal support across the board, bipartisan, damn near 80% support for Israel and their project and everything they've ever done for years, decades, up until October 7th. And I think people just almost can't believe what's happening.
Yeah, they can't believe what's happening, but you can't live stream a genocide for 2 years and expect Americans to just continue supporting Israel after that. Yeah, there's a consequence. There's a price to pay for your behavior. And that's the thing that I find particularly sick, right? That the claims of, oh, this is just anti-Semitism seeks to deflect accountability for Israel's own behavior and instead smear those who, again, have the moral conviction to speak out against the atrocities.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.